So with Reckoning, what I wanted to do was really bring the hardcore action moment-to-moment button presses and choices that players have with an action game or a fighting game into the RPG stance. So you're not looking so much at DPS and like math over time, you're looking at which attacks I'm using over time and how to defend it properly and where I am in relation to each enemy.
That's the thing when you play RPGs. You do the RPG elements, but you're like, oh man, I gotta go fight this in this dungeon. This is gonna be boring.
You got the like slow, and that's my combat.
You're not looking forward to fighting, but you're looking forward to the story because it's so interesting.
We really wanted to bring the RPG gamer a little bit more to the action side. If we had cool hardcore stuff for the hardcore action gamer to like get into and understand, that's cool, but we really wanted to be bringing all that fun to the RPG gamers.
The key to a good animation is strong poses. I feel like if you look at our combat, and hopefully when you freeze a frame, if you did, that you have a strong pose there. And like it's dynamic, and you can tell exactly where the swing is coming from, how heavy the weapon is, and basically how powerful the player really is.
Wanted to be like badass, strong, raw power, no soft type of thing, no whimsical thing, just all just hitting hard, mess you up, clear the room type of action.
We tailored our poses and our animation to the control. Like we really try to push that as far as we possibly can.
Everything about every button press is that there's pregnant action to it. Todd McFarlane really speaks well to it. Young and his team are really all about seeing each pose being strong, and then my job is to make it feel like I did that with that button press. It wasn't anybody else, that was me. So there's only one way to do an action RPG in the style that we're doing, and that's to sit the animators and designers side by side.
That was like the key of making all of this possible.
Designers have their own mind of how things need to be for damage and hit reacts and timing, and animators have their own mind for how to make it look good and how to make it look like it has proper weight.
It's a lot of back and forth. Sometimes, we're like, all right, it's not gonna look the best, but it's gonna feel good. And designers like, okay, fine. You can have more frames, it's gonna be a little slower probably, but it's gonna look good.
You see it in game, all the fluidity of the player's moves and the NPCs and how the enemies work with the player and everything, to the sync actions, to the stealth kills, to the face shift kills, how everything transitions so smoothly. It's a direct result of us sitting together and implementing all this stuff together.
I'm a big believer in telling the animators, get off your seat, act it out, because you gotta really feel it inside before you can kind of like put it on the screen,
And just go crazy.
It's hard to describe, but like as an animator, you want to make it as believable as possible. And you gotta believe it first, I want to say, before you can kind of make other people believe it.
Like get into the essence of just grabbing on your strength your inner strength, I should say, and just doing what you feel. No like training involved, just Hail Mary with these weapons and see what you can come up with.
We want to make it believable, but at the same time, we want to make it awesome. Where like you're like, wow, I know that's impossible, but I want to do that.
So in Reckoning, what we've done is we've built a combo system that lets the player sort of build out the combos in a way they see fit, but it's built to be balanced also as a sense of risk and reward. So at the very bottom level, you have your basic attacks, and these are the first hits of your combo chain. So if you think about it with your daggers is a 6-hit chain. So the first 5 hits are your basic attacks. You can always cancel those basic attacks into dodge or a block at any time you want. You can also cancel up to the higher level to the magic attacks. The next level is your special attacks. These are the last hits of a chain, or maybe unlocked special, like you might have a attack out of dodge or attack out of block. What these are going to do, they're going to apply status effects. They're going to do a lot more damage, but you're not able to cancel into defense like with the block or dodge out of them. But you can always cancel up 1 level into your magic abilities. From your magic abilities, you really committed to that move. So once you're using magic, you've paid a mana cost, but you're committed to that move. If you're going to get hit afterward, you might get hit. And it's going to take a while before you can block, cancel, or dodge cancel, or even attack again out of it. So what we've done is built that system where you start with the low and you can kind of always move up the chain. And now you can start working in things like launching attacks, and then you can start building combos out of it. You might get to the end of your very last hit and you've hit him with a strong finisher, but you always know you can do a magic attack to sort of continue the chain or something. And it's really all about creating this language that the player can then build combos off of. new player comes to our game, I really do want him to see that it's an RPG. It's got all these action elements, and we've given them all these choices to sort of shape the way that they play their character and equip their character's gear and the abilities that they use. But really what I want them to discover in our game is how to express themselves in combat.
You can go into Plane Reckoning without memorizing anything, you know, and you can it's more just a feel and a timing thing, which anybody can pick up easily.
For me, a good game is a fun game, you know, a game that you want to keep playing, and like a game that you don't mind watching the animation, you know.
Anybody can do like combinations, you know, I guess if you get good enough, you can do like a 10, 15 hit combo. But I mean, but even that said, that's easy to do. It's so easy, you know. So you just pick it up and just mess around, have fun with it, and next thing you know, you'll be kicking all kinds of ass.
In any other game, they're always going to have the standard 4 attacks that they use, and that's what makes them a warrior. But in our game, I feel there's so many variations on how you can actually play that out as a warrior, whether you're using dodge or teleport or blocks or parry, or which combinations of weapons that you're actually using and magic abilities, that it really does become sort of an expression of you. And it's just so much fun just to walk through our own building here at Big Huge and just see each player playing in their own way, and in combinations that I never thought would be possible, but they work. And it's just sort of how each person just represents themselves. So really what I want to see is just that self-expression. I'm really looking forward just to seeing videos of like combos or ways like people have found to defeat enemies just using the tools that we've given them.
Hey everyone, this is Zach. I'm joined by Dewey.
Hello everyone!
And for those of you who've been following Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, this developer diary, that's what I'll call it, didn't really show all that much new. It's been known for quite some time that the developers are trying to make a more action-oriented approach with combat and not have it be that you select a skill and it's all slow, but it's really quick. And everything just kind of goes together. It did show a little bit more on the combo side of things, though, delving deeper into the combo system of the game. I'm curious, what did you think about the combat in Kingdoms of Amalur?
Well, how they said in the beginning of the trailer how they're kind of going for, you know, the action-oriented, almost fighting kind of game style combat, and I could see that in a lot of the different like combos that they're showing. They had like, you know, the knock locks, the chain stuns and that kind of stuff, the constant knock-ups, knockdowns, and that, you know, you see a lot of that in the fighting games. You know, you have the combos to try to keep them locked down, and I like it. I think that I hope there's a a strong competitive aspect behind this game. I mean, I could see it like how, I mean, I could see a lot of play for a multiplayer kind of thing here. They have not yet released whether or not it's going to be multiplayer, correct?
I actually don't know.
Okay. I thought I remember hearing a video earlier today saying that they have not confirmed nor denied.
The thing I know about this game is it's supposed to be like hundreds of hours long, and that's a lot of time to just put in by yourself. I'm not exactly sold on the artistic style of the game, I guess, at least like the graphical fidelity of it, but it's intrigued me that the story, the universe that they're putting it in, and I do like the push that they're making for that more active combat and not just sitting back and selecting your skills and letting it
you
play
have to
out.
you have to be very careful though when you come to something where you make a game hundreds of hours of whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. And you have these action-oriented, like, you know, super awesome-looking skills and combats and combos, because you need to have a lot of them in there. Because let's say even if you have like a good probably 40-50 combos in there, Like, that's not going to be very many for a 100-hour game, because what's going to happen is you're going to play the first 10, 15 hours, and then after that, it's going to be the same thing over and over again.
Being skeptical, just because there are a ton of combos and a lot of moves in the game, doesn't necessarily make those moves useful. So what you could end up finding yourself is just gravitating towards 3 different abilities, and then it turns into button mashing. Now, button mashing for 100 hours
Is
length of time. Now, the story in the universe, and we haven't played the game, so we don't know if the skills are all that compelling to use all the different skills.
You know, maybe all 40 or all 50, however many skills on there, each of them have their unique uses, and each of them are useful. It's not like where you'll find in traditional RPGs or MMOs and that kind of stuff, where you really find a set of skills that you go with, and those are the strongest skills, and you kind of stray from everything else.
And it just becomes apparent that they're really trying to bring the RPG aspect of leveling up, crafting, the story of the game, choices that you can make throughout the game, with the combat style of action games, God of War, which does action right, but the Dynasty Warriors games, the games that you think of when you think of button mashing and just going through. And do we really want that in a 100-hour long game? Probably not. So hopefully that's not how it turns out. It's not necessarily bad, of course, that they're going for that action-oriented approach. That's compelling to me if they do it right.
There's a lot of potential in the game, a lot of potential from what they've shown. So I think people who have been enjoying the RPGs and don't just simply say, oh, it's a Skyrim wannabe or something like that. It can be its own title, and look for it to, you know, really hopefully impress a lot of people and impress yourself. So
there were some people that were actually comparing it to Skyrim. I don't necessarily see that just because it's a long RPG, but people want to be people comparing things. If, in case you're wondering, you're a Raymond fan, he is not sold about this game.
Not at all.
He watched us and then walked away and said, I'm not sold. But yeah, the game, the more I've done looking into it, because when we first looked at it, I had zero interest in it. And the more I've actually looked into what they're trying to do, the more I've come to start being intrigued about what they're doing and kind of getting a little bit excited to see how things turn out. The combat's interesting.
I like the combos.
I'll say that the dev diary itself was kind of long, but it's a compelling concept,
it was very interesting to watch all the combos, and like when the spikes would shoot up from the ground, and then he'd do there would be half-second pause and then something else would happen. That was really cool to look at and at least see. So for at least your guys' perspective, when we do the walkthrough of it, you'll get to see all these cool combinations and everything like that. So
I also like the fact that they're talking about timing-based combat. It just seems like the combat will be fun to play, and that's something that I like. I mean, on a 100-hour game, I want to enjoy the combat. I want to enjoy.
No, I think it'd be fine just being basic.
Can you imagine going through it? Just, God, I love this story, I love this universe, but God, this combat's so slow for me.
And you find yourself just wandering around the world, avoiding every mob possible, just because you don't want to fight them.
So let us know what you guys think about the combat. We're at least interested in seeing how it turns out. And it comes out February 7th on, I believe, PC, and then Xbox 360 and PS3. So you guys can look forward to that. In the meantime, keep gaming.